Meeting is now streaming on the YouTube.
Yeah, you can close your camera for a few minutes. Everyone can close the cameras.
Okay.
I'm gonna play music. Let me. Can you listen the music, or you cannot?
No.
Okay, so let me. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Listen the music,
Yeah.
or you cannot?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so let me. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you cannot?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so let me. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so let me. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
You cannot. No. Okay, so let me. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
You cannot. No. Okay, so let me.
We'll wait few more minutes so that people could join in. We'll just maybe 3 minutes more. We'll go start with it. Okay, so I think we'll start now. Just a second.
So just a second. So good morning, everyone. Welcome you to the session on personal branding today. We are very happy to have you and look forward for an um, interesting session today where you get to learn about many new things, hopefully. So before we go into say actual session, we have little announcement to make. So the first part, let me introduce you about iStemCare because some of you are new here. So we are a kind of in iStemCare, we are working as a group of postdocs, PhDs, and industry professionals spread worldwide. We founded the iStemCare earlier this year with an objective to reach out to the STEM community with practical and realistic guidance to face the professional world, which we have either faced in our career or facing while navigating our career journey. Um, at iStemCare, our intention is to help STEM professionals and people in caring in compassionate manner to allow the STEM community thrive with ease. The overall aim in future is to build individual specific solutions for the STEM community, irrespective of context or medium. And that's why we named it as iSTEM Care, where I is mean individualized, that operates on a simple motto of sharing is caring. Um, and then we have our partner who supports us in terms of outreach, iSTEM peers. So iSTEM peer, a brief introduction to them that they are a group on Facebook founded in 2015, and then uh, when they realized at that time that many of the PhD confront an information lag on how to navigate the challenges in academic careers and beyond, and in last couple of years back in 2017, they grew from a virtual Facebook group into a registered nonprofit. And this is due to their dynamic community of altruistic volunteers, leaders. They have expanded in their ideologies and outreach, and they have several efforts ongoing anti STEM peers, which includes STEM peer conferences in Europe and US, coming in November. And now they are connecting around 17,000 STEM professionals worldwide. So with that, I'll move on to introducing you to our. Before I go there, there are a couple of housekeeping announcements that it would be great if you can mute your microphone during the session. Also, video cam is not needed during the session. Maybe at the end when we have a question answer, you can use that. Uh, Also, you can use reaction in the Zoom, like there is a panel where you can say, okay, raise hand or anything, any reaction. And also you can ask question in the chat box, which we are monitoring it. And and in future we will be surely looking for feedback that we'll be discussing at the end. And at the end, the final part is that the views we are expressing, since we are different organizations part, that's not our organization views, these are our most solely personal views. So with that, we have we have four people today with you to discuss LinkedIn. So first about me. So the people who are new, for them, this is introduction is, I know there are some people who are joining from last webinar. So I'm currently a postdoctoral fellow at Washington University in St. Louis, working in the area of cancer genomics. And previous to the postdoc, I worked 2 years in India, in Bangalore, in industry as a scientist before I moved in St. Louis. And beside my research work, I love to do these such kind of career development sessions, write articles, talk to people offline as well as nowadays in Corona online, mostly virtual. And the idea is to help people in career development in STEM community. Next, we have Deepak. Deepak is a research scientist at University of Hong Kong after completing his PhD degree there. And he has research experience in academia as well as commercial sector. So he worked in industry before he went into PhD in UK, in India, and also in Hong Kong. Another nice and excellent panelist we have is Anurag. He is currently pursuing his PhD at University of Turin, Italy. He has also worked on many organizations in India and UK. Uh, And in his free time, he loves to do freelancer writing, science reporting. So he has a diverse interest in science communication and career development. Uh, the last and the last and least, that Rasika is another excellent person. She has done uh, her research in oncology in PhD and now an a scientist at Rutgers University, New Jersey, USA, after finishing her PhD from in oncology. And her passion is include scientific writing and science communication. So with that, I will now go to our agenda for today, uh, and let's get started. So before we get started, uh, there are. Let me introduce you to the kind of overview of the session. So. Uh, as we promised, we will have 90-minute session today, and the first part first part is going to be talking about why you need to have LinkedIn, what is the catchy part there, and then second part of it is about what you should be doing in your LinkedIn profile, and then we will have a 10-minute demo as well in there. So with that, let's get started, and just a second. Yeah, so to begin with, so the way it is divided, that we are like um, we are going to talk about each section and then going forward with the demo, and then at the end we have a 20-minute dedicated for your question answer. So don't worry about how we are going to do it. So we have a question and answer at the end. So keep your question. Don't worry if we don't take it. This is just for the sake of time, that's why we are not gonna reply in between the session. So with that, I'll hand it over to Deepak, who will be starting with the first part of the session. So Deepak, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Pawan. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Okay. So hi guys. Welcome to our webinar on LinkedIn. As per your previous suggestions and recommendations, that you wanted to have a keen understanding of how to design your LinkedIn profile and how to improve your personal brand, we decided that we'll make something based on our experiences and based upon the market perceptions to improve your outlook and your personal brand. And these are just some key pointers and key tips on the basics of LinkedIn and how to improve yourself in terms of presentation. Now, whether you know it or not, you have a personal brand. And when you Google yourself, the results that pop up are the first impression people will have of you. Is it a good one? Is the information you are sharing across LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media sites consistent? Whether you have a date or a job interview, chances are someone is going to Google you to learn more about who you are. The question is, do you want to allow your online reputation to take on a life of its own or control the narrative? Now, with the proliferation of social media and the gig economy, it has become essential for everyone to embrace personal branding. Now, developing a great personal brand doesn't happen overnight. Oprah Winfrey is undoubtedly the queen of personal branding. She is continually building equity in her brand, which has an estimated net worth of $2.5 billion according to Forbes. And Oprah has always stuck to her core competency, challenging millions of viewers to live the basic lives as best as possible by understanding their potential. By being true to herself, she has inspired millions to be their true selves. Can we go to the next one? So, if you feel that you have been putting yourself out very effectively, but still are not getting enough hits, enough recommendations, enough job references, or just enough views, then my friend, you need personal branding. The next, please. So the term, yeah. So the term branding used to be reserved for businesses, but with the, sorry, next one, please.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so the term branding used to be reserved for businesses, but with the advent of social sites and the gig economy, personal branding has become fundamental. A personal brand is the unique combination of skills and experiences that make who you are. It is how you present yourself to the world. Effective personal branding will differentiate you from the competition and allow you to build trust with prospective clients and employers. I believe that the three skills that are most crucial when interviewing, networking, or excelling in your career are writing, communication, and technical skills. And each skill supports one another, but when it is combined together, it forms a strong personal brand, which is valuable in the marketplace and in life. A very important thing in personal branding is being unique or standing out. By just being unique and standing out, you actually create an identity for yourself. Having said that, why is LinkedIn important and why are we so concerned about LinkedIn? Um, so, yeah, can you go to the next one, please? Yeah, so why is LinkedIn so important and why are we discussing so much about LinkedIn when there are so many other social media sites wherein you have to showcase yourself, like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or so? Now, LinkedIn is the largest business oriented networking website geared specifically towards professionals. It has over 500 million members in over 200 countries. A professionally written LinkedIn profile allows you to create an online professional brand which can help open doors to opportunities in networks that you may not have been aware of without the help of social media. LinkedIn gives you the ability to showcase your profile, expertise, recommendations, and connections. Not only is your profile the first professional impression of you when recruiters and employers use LinkedIn to search for candidates, but it also demonstrates credibility in your industry and highlights your achievements. Although many people still underestimate the importance of LinkedIn in their job search and are sometimes reluctant to embrace social media. Now, I think I'll just pass on to Rasika at this particular point to understand more about what is important in LinkedIn and how to go about it.
Okay, thank you so much with this amazing background. I think we'll actually come to the focus like how it should be done. So while building our LinkedIn profile, we should always remember, which is extremely important thumb rule of the whole building of your LinkedIn, is be yourself. Don't copy anyone from a normal like any other profile. It's important to be yourself. It is important to understand your strengths. It is important to showcase your strengths because you are the person, because it's a personalized thing, right? I mean, that you are not like anyone other in this world, so be yourself. It is the your LinkedIn profile is a mirror of your own personality, that you should always remember. uh, while building a LinkedIn profile, don't copy as it is anyone's profile, because you are unique. So it is always important to be yourself and make your personalized profile, which is very important. So second point which you should remember, that LinkedIn is not your CV. So it is more of telling your broader story or a big story. So don't copy paste your CV as it is on your LinkedIn profile. You should always tell bigger story. It is always a good example is like show and don't tell your story. It is always to show your story, which is very important. It is important to write what it is important to write what you like to do or what you love to do, rather than what you actually do in your profession. So coming to the next, which is very important thing, is using correct keywords. So as the slide suggests, that if I can't find you, I can't hire you. So using appropriate keywords is the key to build your LinkedIn profile. It is important for recruiters, it is important for making connections to use the appropriate word. Like in our case, we can use molecular biology, biochemistry, like these kind of words. So making your profile, which is keywords rich profile, is very important. And you can make use of different search engine optimization to make your profile and stronger and make use of keywords. Can we go to the next slide? So another important thing which I wanted to mention here is this LinkedIn is AI based platform, that is it based on artificial intelligence. So it is AI based algorithm. So sharing your updates, writing about your publications, writing about different articles, which will make you focus, which will make you more noticeable on this platform. So it is always important to share the publication or research or interest, or it might be about the Nobel laureate which you are following. So you should always remember to do that. It works on this data analytics thing. So keep sharing is the key to make more and more networking. And another part, what you can see is growing your network, which is very important. So try to connect as much people as possible on LinkedIn, not a random connection, but which is more relevant to your connection. So, with this little background, I would like to hand over the things to Anurag for the next explanation.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rasika and Deepak, for this wonderful introduction. I would like to talk about you because when we create our LinkedIn profile, one of the thing is we have to write a summary, and in the summary always remember that you are putting putting your information which is able to answer the five questions. The questions are: who are you, what you do, what make you unique, what is your unique selling point. Because let's take an example. There are n number of people who are working in molecular biology, but what is the unique thing which make you apart from other people? So you need to find what is unique in you. Then how could I get benefit from you? Always think that what is the unique skill, what is the one thing which you can provide to the other person, whether it's an employer, whether it's a new lab. So these things you need to clearly highlight. And most of the time what people do is they provide all these information but forget to give the contact information, your email id, your Skype id. So these things should be provided. So it is important that whenever you write a summary in the LinkedIn, you are able to answer who are you, what you do, what make you unique, and how could I benefit from you, and how to contact you. Next slide please, Pawan.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the experience, when I go through a lot of people LinkedIn profile, what I see, they simply write their roles and responsibility in their experience section. But when you write roles and responsibility, it is mostly in the passive sense. It is already given on the website portfolio or the job advertisement. Always try to write in the active form. Use I. Show that you are the one who is involved. And always use the action verbs. Like you resolved a problem. You initiated a new thing. So make sure that you are using active voice rather than uh, uh, rather than the passive voice. And always use the first person format. Don't go to the third person format. So that is the one thing. And avoid just copying and pasting from the job description, because it looks lazy and it doesn't make a unique impression on the person who is looking for you. So that is another thing. So then when we are talking about Pawan, you can move to the next slide. When we are talking about the experiences, what are the important skills you have learned during your experiences that should be properly highlighted in the LinkedIn. And the more as Rasika has pointed out, if I can't see you, I can't hire you. Similarly, you have to highlight your skills in the LinkedIn section. And so this is just an example. So focus on these things when you are writing about the summary and experiences. Now I would like to ask Pawan to conclude this part.
So thank you, Anurag, Deepak, and Rasika for giving a lot of background. So just for the participants that this discussion, what we are doing, you just giving a snap view of what it is. We are going to talk about in detail about each section, that how you should do it. So don't worry, we are not putting too much text and giving you an example. We will have something in the second part of, once we end this first part, in a couple of minutes. So the last part, which most of people, including like even most experienced people, miss it, is updating your profile. And only we go to update when we look for a job or something like comes. It's like as it comes we do it. But no, the updating profile does not mean that you just wait till that time looking for new job or new things. It's like continuous process. Updating doesn't mean that you update some achievement. It could be many things. And so how do you share an update? And there are some mistakes we do in sharing updates, so let's talk about that before I go to what you should do. So the first thing in update, we tend to just share someone's profile. Even I do. Just doing organic sharing. No, not adding any text of our own. It's a good practice to add out two words. Maybe for a job, if you're sharing a job, saying nice job, apply it. This makes that you are a human. Otherwise, just you want to just throw it onto the someone's feed, right? So it's better to not doing just sharing. Then it's not, first of all, LinkedIn is not a social media platform like Twitter and Facebook, other than Instagram, that where you share your feelings. No, you should never do it. I feel good, not feel bad, and all that doesn't work, because people don't care there on LinkedIn much in those regard, and it is not platform made for it. Other things, some people you will see in LinkedIn, they will talk a lot. Like they will talk every day, 5 posts about do this, that, like talking about too many things but doing nothing. So they will not show that what they are doing, what they are talking. So it's not a good impression that talking too much, doing nothing. So we have to show the actions, and I will talk how you show it. And then fourth part, which Rasika covered, that it's not your CV. So you should not like keep on putting things like a CV on your updates. And fifth, which is most important, we need to be professional. We need to be loud, like Facebook and Twitter, and fighting with each other on the comments. That is, sometimes it spills over from our experience on other platforms. So we should avoid these mistakes on LinkedIn. Moving on to how do you share an update? There are various ways to share an update. Uh, One of the best way is writing an article on LinkedIn, and I will show you how where you can do and how you can do little bit in the demo part. So writing an update, it could be anything. Don't worry if you do not have a nice English, or you don't know. Just write something like whatever you think which is professionally correct, and that's it. You don't need to be super expert in that. And then discussing in groups, and also like keeping in touch with people. If somebody achieves something, they get promoted, don't shy away from not congratulating. If you congratulate, they may not respond to you, but it will give them impression that you do care, you are a human, and you have a compassion, and you really want to share things, and be happy with others achievement. Joining in a group works because you get a peer community where you can ask direct things. There are groups for various professions. It's not limited to just STEM. You can join group. You must join group on LinkedIn, because you get directly chance to meet those people in the industry. Adding LinkedIn to your own account is also update, because sometimes if you share something on Twitter, you can repost on LinkedIn. So that's your update if it is professionally correct. Or you see some feed on Twitter which is very relevant article or information, you put it back on your LinkedIn. So it does helps you across. And then helping other. This is most important. If we are not active on LinkedIn, not don't want to help anyone, it highly likely people don't know you. Just like uh, Rasika was talking about, if we don't know you, we can't hire you. So knowing, if I talk to you 10 times in a month, whether you like me or not, you will know me. That's for sure, that you will know this is a person, this is a face. That's what you want. You don't want to be like friend or make friendship too much, but just helping a small things, like somebody asking something, it, go comment it and leave it, right? The sixth part is adding in resume. It does kind of goes up with further with more people, because then people don't have to search for you on LinkedIn. It's there in our resume when you're looking for a job. And the last part is in your email signature, which we discussed in the last email session as well a lot. So this is, you should add it. The idea is to make information available to the person you are going to interact with, so that you make their life easier in terms of in terms of how they want to see you, and we'll talk about like what they want to see on your profile. So uh, last, but I think this is going to be last part. Many people, many of us shy away from asking things, and why I also had that imposter syndrome. Sometime I do have, is we think that if what if the person denies, it's our insult, or we don't feel good and all that, doesn't respond to you. It doesn't take anything, asking things is not a begging, but it's more of, you ask someone whom you worked with, who was your peer, or you mentored him or her. You can ask for a recommendation. And the thing is, the good part is, it is different than your close recommendation, because this recommendation is in public, and they know that who gave the recommendation. The person is there, comment, putting a recommendation on your profile, and it's really supports you a lot, because then a recruiter can directly go to that person and ask, hey, you work with this guy, what do you think? And nowadays, I'll tell you, your professional and skills are kind of 50-50, but 50% people look for in a job is a personality, the teamwork. So those things comes from support from the recommendation, which is very, really a key in nowadays, because of social media, and because it's hard to know the people, so many people. How do you know, filter out? Recruiter struggle with it, and that's why they don't respond to you. So, and the reason is that if they don't have enough information. So with that, we'll all kind of, the last part here is myths. This is most interesting part in LinkedIn, which we always struggle. So I'll just discuss, and then I'll take feedback from other panelists on this part as well. So the first myth is, as I said, LinkedIn is only helpful when I'm looking for a job. Most of people do it, but it is not. It is about, as we said, we are talking about personal branding on LinkedIn. So what is personal branding? If you am a person, I have to behave like a person, that I do exist. So I have to be active, right? The second part is update your profile. But if you update, many people fear, what if people get notified and they know what I'm doing? You can disable it if you're so insecure, but it's always to be there, that the recruiter will know about it. Maybe you don't want to share with your colleague, so that's your choice, but there is option to disable it. You don't allow people know about it. Third part is, I can only connect with someone I know, because maybe the new person may not connect to me. But it's not like that. The only thing you need to do, or most of people need to do, is write a connection note, which we elaborately discussed in our last session, that how you should write LinkedIn notes. It's key to get a connection accepted. Specifically, if you're talking to CEO or manager or the company HR or anyone, without note, chances are slim that your connection request will get accepted. So the fourth part is, secret secret features will get unlocked if I hit 500 connections. So what people do, they keep on sending connection requests till the time they reach 500 connections. That's what a dilemma, but it's not really like that. Nothing gets opened up. So that's a myth. Um, the fifth part is accepting invitation from the unknown person may open me to an spam. Especially, I do know that some female, like, they do have a struggle on LinkedIn. Some people do nonsense. They do message and do kind of like other media platforms. But there is an option that you can report to such people, and LinkedIn will block them. They will block their profile. So if somebody is continually doing it, you can just report to them, and it's very strict on LinkedIn. So you should not worry about it. If somebody is spamming you and doing some behavior which is not called for, so that's not a fear. Because I do know many people say, if I put a nice profile picture, people will start commenting on my chat box. So don't worry, you can just report such people. The sixth part is, I can only message people whom I know personally connected to. No, you can text on email, you can follow them, and later chat on their post. You can comment that, look, I'm looking to connect to you. Can you share your email ID? So you don't need to be in their connection to get their email ID. And second point, you don't need to be on their connection to talk to them. So even if they haven't shared an email ID, you can just go email message and do it. The seventh and last part, that people don't update, or most of people, that because they think that if I update, I should have something to update. But it's not like that. You can talk, like Anurag was talking, like, and I was talking also. Like, you can talk about anything. You learn something. You are inspired by something. You like something. You comment on something, achievements. There's so many things. So I will stop and I'll go back to Deepak views on this, and then Rasika and Anurag can follow up on this.
Sure. So I'll not jump one by one because I think you've already
Yeah,
done it.
yeah.
But what I'll specify is a few things. So one of the things that I think everyone knows about it, but then it's not really used by everyone, or not really followed by everyone, is that LinkedIn is not your resume. I think it was very clearly iterated in our presentation, in the beginning of the presentation, and also Rasika spoke about it for quite some time. That LinkedIn is not your resume. So in our previous sessions, where we discussed about how to write emails and how to custom design emails to specific employers or specific channels, like whether you're looking for academia or industry, that does not really hold true for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more of a global approach. So think about it, like whenever you might have seen this in interview preps and all of that, wherein the hiring manager may ask you that what is your ambition 5 years down the line, what is your ambition 10 years down the line. So that is what is LinkedIn. What you're going to do tomorrow is going to be defined by your resume or your email. What you're going to do 5 years down the line, what you're going to do 10 years down the line, that is going to be defined by your LinkedIn. So think about LinkedIn from a global perspective. So there's nothing wrong or right about how you put things in LinkedIn, but whatever you put in LinkedIn will shape your career, will shape your future. So anything that you put in is not merely for a job search point of view, but it's about shaping your career. So having said that, don't really use LinkedIn only because you have to search for a job. I know many people do that. I'm guilty for that as well. But don't really do that only for a job search point of view. I mean, there are recruitment websites that are available wherein you can search for jobs, but LinkedIn is mostly to establish friendships, whether it is professional friendships, whether it is personal friendships, but it is only about building friendships. And this friendships, sometimes it leads to job opportunities, and sometimes it leads to collaborations. Sometimes it leads to good personal friendships as well. So that is what is LinkedIn for. A number of things that people usually misunderstand about LinkedIn is that if I increase my global network, this is one more thing. If I increase my global network, which means that if I just go on adding every Tom, Dick, and Harry, then this does not mean that you have created a very strong LinkedIn base. For example, if you're a biologist and if you've added people who are in, say, hospitality industry and who are in, say, computers, who are into IT space, who are into aeronautical engineering, how does it benefit you? So you need to think about where are you going, whom you should add, who is good for you, who is not really good for you. All those things you need to think when you're trying to, go about working with LinkedIn. I think that's it for me. Maybe Rasika or Anurag might have some more points that they want to add.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I will add some point.
Sure.
As it is well summarized by Pawan and Deepak, I would just say that one of the thing you need to understand about LinkedIn is it is about networking. And in today's world, networking is your net worth. So when you are looking for job, what people do is when they are in the final leg of looking for the job, they make a LinkedIn profile, update everything, and then reach out to all the HR. So just in 2 months, they want the response, and when they don't get it, they blame the LinkedIn that LinkedIn is not good. It is not gonna give me the jobs. But if you are planning, if you are in your master's degree, let's say, and you are planning that after 2 years you will be going for a job search, start from the first day of your master. Start looking out for the industry you are interested in. Start tracking those people, start following those people, start commenting on them. It will give you as a visible audience to the other person. And once everything is getting stuck in someone's mind, then they are like, yeah, I have seen this person somewhere. So that helps. So build your network, because that will become your net worth. So that is what I have to say. And don't think about that, uh, once I will get something big, then only I will post it. So that's something you need to focus. And as Deepak also said, when I'm saying network is net worth, again, you don't need to add everyone, whoever is sending you. Like, there is a theory which says 60 or 70% from your field and some other field. And I would ask now Rasika if she can also give some points.
Oh, I think both of like most of you have covered the point. So just yeah, quickly say the same thing like be yourself, be unique, use keywords and network, network, network. I think these are the things which are very important about the LinkedIn. So I think yes, we are good for now.
Yeah, so this is like this is a nice cartoon image where uh, it's basically conveying then believe you can and you will. And I know most of people in academia, and we don't believe in over talking things. We don't know how to the increase. We don't know how to sell ourselves, but that's a limitation. We have so much knowledge and experience, and but we don't know how to sell it. But if you cannot sell it, nobody will take you. So we have to sell ourselves, and that's a key what we are talking today. Uh, so with this, we'll move on to second part of it, which is going to be more of a LinkedIn profile. How, like, it's about what to do, and then I will be talking at the end that how to do on actually on the LinkedIn profile. So with this, I will gonna hand over this to Rasika to start with the second part.
Okay. So going to the actual how the LinkedIn profile looks like and what are the things which we should be doing to our LinkedIn profile. So the first slide it suggests like what are the different sections which are available on the LinkedIn. As you can see one by one, there's intro. What are the featured sections? What about background? So we'll go in details in this one by one section. What should be the things which should be modified on your LinkedIn profile. So Pawan, can you just go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay, first and very important thing, your cover photo. That is the first mirror of you. That is the first face of you on the LinkedIn profile. Always, so you can see what is the bad cover photos like group selfie, then group, and then some weird expression or distracting expression. Please avoid such kind of cover photos. Make a professional headshot for the LinkedIn profile, which is very, very important, with a good resolution, which is covering most of your face. I think that's a very important thing because people are seeing you, your personality in the cover photo, not from top to bottom or toe to your hair, but your face, which is very important. So cover picture, which is extremely important. That's the first thing what you see on LinkedIn. Can we just go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Background photo. This is, I have most of the time seen that this is another ignored part of the LinkedIn profile, that is a background photo. And as you have seen in Facebook and other networking platform, you can actually change the background photo of your LinkedIn. So while changing this background photo, so you can actually mix and customize this background picture. If you are from something like, if you're in the editing section of your profession, you can use editing part of the background as a background photo. Or if you're in machine learning or data analytics or something like that, you can use the profession as your background photo. You can also use the soft skills for making your background photo. It might be like a teamwork. There are different templates which are available online, and you can make use of these templates to customize your background photo. It might be a good combination of your profession as well as your soft skill.
Just to
So
add, just
yeah, go ahead,
can
go
I
ahead.
add something, Rasika?
Yeah,
So
sure.
the purpose, just to kind of give a glimpse, so
Mm-hmm.
purpose of having a cover photo is to show a recruiter that what exactly a theme of your career. So it's about theme of your career. It could be one thing. If you are a pilot, you will have a different cover photo with certain themes. If you are an research scientist, you will have a certain other theme. So idea is to have a theme of your career. That's it. It could be anything. Maybe you give a talk, you will have a picture from your talk, like showing that you are giving a talk. And then and cover photo and the profile picture has to be in sync, because they are just together. I will talk about, I'll show you that how they are together and how they relate with your headline. Also the headline keyword has to be synced with the cover, because they has to be consistent, showing that yeah, it's authentic. So that's, thank you.
Okay. So I think, yeah, can we go to the next slide? Talking enough about background photo. Yes, this is another thing which is very important. When you click someone's profile, the first thing after a photo, like a cover photo and a background photo, what you will see is the headline. So your headline is describing yourself. It should be catchy. It should have use of keywords that you should remember. So wisely use different keywords while making your headline. If you're a graduate student, if you're a PhD student, please write that. If you're a molecular biology scientist, uh, do write in your headline. Remember that this headline appear in the searches. It appear when you are searching for the profile. If you are searching, if recruiter is searching for particular profile, so this appears in your search engine. So remember to use appropriate keywords in your headline. Another thing which I actually came across when I was looking for this headline thing, that there's a question which is generally asked, oh, if I'm unemployed or if I'm student, what I should write. What I would say is something which creates opportunities with your own, or sharing what you can do, which is more important than share it in your headline. I think this is very important point we should remember while making the headline. Make your skill and expertise visible in your headline. Communicate with your values, what you can bring to the employer, as I said. And at least one keyword, as it is suggested on the slide, that use at least one or two major keywords which describes you for the job seeker, which is very important. And something which is very unique feature, if you have that, if you have particular award, like if you're a best young scientist award or something, don't forget to mention that in your headline, which is very, very important. So can we go to the next slide?
Rasika, just
Yeah,
just one just one
yeah,
last thing I wanted to
sure,
mention about the headline.
sure.
Because Pawan, could we go back? Yeah. So you very well you mentioned about the fact that we should include, like particularly for job seekers, we must very make sure that we include that we are looking for opportunities and all of that. So one other thing that I have come across quite frequently is
Mhm.
that for job seekers, what they do is that their headline begins with actively seeking opportunities or actively seeking postdoc positions or actively seeking so and so thing. So that is not really, because what happens is that the moment you see that, that is your selling point. Your selling point is that you're looking for a job. That cannot be your selling point.
Right, right.
So your selling point needs to be that what are your skills, and then
Yes,
after the skills, you're looking for an opportunity in that particular direction.
right,
So that way, what happens is that you are
right,
emphasizing yourself first, and then you're trying to sell yourself.
right.
So for example, like here a few examples are given wherein the positions are described, the experiences described, or the awards are described, and then towards the end, if you just include a
Yes,
small line or a small factor that you're looking for connections, or you're looking for opportunities, or you're looking for positions, then that will be more appealing as
yes,
compared to a simple line of actively looking for
right.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
I
that's the thing what I wanted to say, that don't say unemployed or I'm
yeah, yeah.
student. Say that
Yes.
what you can can cater to the employer, or what you can cater to something who is hiring you. I think that is more important. Yeah, Pavan.
Just to add 2 points. So just like you guys said, everything like I second it. And there are two features in LinkedIn came up. So there is a one like in Facebook, you say you change your profile picture with a theme of some tag. Nowadays in LinkedIn, you can say open to work. In your profile itself, it will come. If you want to do it, fine. Or there is a button on LinkedIn which allows you to say open for the job. It will only recruiters on LinkedIn will come to know.
Yeah.
Other people will not come to know. So
Yeah.
that way you are internally like just telling the recruiters the right person that you are looking for a job. So that's it. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, this is another thing which many people don't know, and even I recently, like maybe a year back, I got to know that, oh, we can customize your URL, or where you can share your profile. So customizing the URL of your profile is very important, and you can do that in LinkedIn, like your handle, what you do generally in other platforms. So customizing URL has majorly two benefits, what I can say. First is it's easy to find because you have a unique customized URL for your own profile. Another thing, what it always suggests, that you are a detail oriented person. Okay, you are not like just any other URL which you are using, which is assigned by LinkedIn, but you are a detail oriented person. You are it is important for you to customize your URL. So while customizing this URL, you can actually go to the URL and customize to and there are some things which you can avoid, that you can avoid spaces, you can avoid particular symbols. Try to use your first name and last name preferably, or unique name for customizing your URL. It acts like a username in any other platforms or any other media. Mm, don't change your this URL frequently, because after some point the LinkedIn might block this kind of feature, because you can change in only 4 to 5 times, maybe in 6 months or something like that. So don't, and if you are changing it frequently, it's very tough for the next person to find out your profile. So always remember to customize your URL to easy finding your profile while you are on LinkedIn. So I think yes, this is
Yeah. One.
all.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
One
yeah. Go
minor
ahead.
thing in that.
Go ahead. Sure.
Uh, because this couple of people had asked me about it. When you
Mm-hmm.
actually create your profile for the first time, you can't really. I mean, there is no option because you'll be handed over a URL.
Okay.
So that URL will be ending as something like ABCDXYZ
Right.
numbers and
Right.
all of that. And once your profile is created, only then you can customize. So do remember, even if you're given,
Yes.
like, everyone got a URL from LinkedIn for their particular profile,
Yes.
and only after creating the profile there is this option that is being indicated on the screen, wherein you can
Yeah.
go to that particular section and you can sort of input your custom URL. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yes. Yes. I think yes, this is very important. So don't forget to customize your URL. And now we'll head to Anurag to understand more details about the next part.
Thank you, Rasika. So, as I talked about the summary part, so when you create an account in the LinkedIn, you have this about section where you have to put and answer all those 5 questions: that who are you, what you do, what is unique about you, what I can benefit from you, and how can I contact you. So these are the 5 questions you need to write, you need to answer while writing about this thing. Whenever you are writing, use buzzwords, use action verbs. But what happen with most people is, when they use buzzword, they fall into the trap of using cliche sentences, which is common in career summary of I am motivated, blah blah blah. Try to be unique. If you are using motivated, try to find a way to write it in a unique way. So, and use these technical skills and the buzzword according to your uh, mm, uh, career interest, where you are interested in. Like, even sometime it could be possible that you are a PhD student, but you want to move to the writing, scientific writing section. So if you are doing that, try to be elaborate about your writing part. And so here what you are seeing is three different examples, and in all these three examples, you are seeing three different examples, and each example is like, because this is not like one size fit all. Someone has to go into the detail about the things, someone has to just summarize the things. So if you are a marketing person, you have to be very crisp in presenting yourself. And if you are, let's say, going for writing, applying for, you want to go in writing field, you have to be detailed. If you see the second example, she is a registered nurse, but she is also a copywriter, so that's why she has written in detail about what she do. And in the last one, if you see, it's a PhD student, he's doing something, uh, he speaks about all the skills he brings, and he also attaches the resume, so he has given the contact details also. So this is a very important thing you need to understand when you are writing all these things. Pawan, we can move to the next slide.
Yeah.
So in the LinkedIn, just after your about section, you have a featured section. This is a newly included section. So if you are using Twitter, you would have seen there is something called pinned tweet. So this post will be available to seen by everyone. So whatever is the whatever best you see, like a link, a media, a post which you have done and which has received a lot of traction, you can make it as a featured post, and it will be there until unless you remove it, not like your activity section which goes after 45 days. So remember to use these sections also. Oh, next part.
Yeah.
Then comes about the background. So after the about and featured section, you have background. In the background, the first thing you see is the work experience, and on the left hand side, you are seeing the format of this work experience. So you have to add the experience, what is the title, what is the employer name, and all these information. And then you have location and other things. And if you scroll down here, you will find that you have the description also. And right now you are seeing on the right hand side two examples. In one, the person has given just one line thing: what was his job, what and where he worked, and from what to what time. In the second one, he has explained in detail, and if you see, he has written in the active voice, but it could have been better if you would have used the first person also, like I was involved here or something like that. So this you are seeing the thing. And I would like to point out an interesting point about these two examples. These two examples are from the same person. So you may ask why a person who knows about how to use LinkedIn, why he has not included the same information in the previous one. So the answer could be the second one is the most recent one. And the second point could be that he want to be in the second field most probably than the first field. So it is a way of in a very subtle ways, saying that I am more interested into this particular thing. Just like when you make a CV, you have 10 or 15 projects in your academic career, but you need to highlight the one which fits the bill best. So this could be the thing. So you can play around with the LinkedIn stuff. So now we move to the next part, that is the education part. So in the education, again you have the same thing. Where did you got your education, from what to what time, and all these information. And if in the right hand side we have the examples. So in the lower side, if you see, he is a doctoral student, and he has given the detail of the project, what he did, and all these information. On the first one, on the upper side, what you are seeing is this guy has not given any detailed experiences. And another point is, he has given the detailed experiences of his class 12th, that he was an all-round student in class 12th. So when you are writing something about your class 12th, which is like ancient history, because in the corporate sector or in any field, it is said that anything which is beyond 5 to 6 years, if you are focusing on that part and that skill, that is ancient history. So you are not, and this could go in a wrong, this could give a wrong message, because if you see the example here, he has written, I was the winner of the all-round award, best all-round student award. So in your 12th you are the all-round student, but after that you have gone downhill. That is why you are not confident about what to write about, what other things you have gone what other things you have done. So think about it, whatever you write, it is not read how it is written, it is always read between the line. No one read that, okay, you have done this, oh wow. No, people will ask the question why you have explained that part, not the first part. But in the second part you are saying that he has given the PhD things in much more detail.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you go to the next part, yeah, now I would ask Deepak to talk about the license and certification, and the further things in the LinkedIn.
Okay, thank you, Anurag. So I think Rasika and Anurag have given like a very solid foundation to understanding how to create your LinkedIn profile. We are moving step by step on the LinkedIn channel as we go from top to bottom. So we covered the initial focus, which is the photographs, how your profile should look, and we discussed about the summary, and we now discussed about the background in terms of your academic experience as well as your job experience. Now, before I jump into describing the importance of other aspects of LinkedIn profile, one thing that you need to understand is that we are having some questions from some of the participants who are saying that, is it too late to start LinkedIn, or I'm a graduate student, I'm a master's student, I'm just in my high school, so I don't have enough to showcase. It's not as if like, you start building LinkedIn profile only after you become like CEOs and CFOs. It's not for them. It's for people who are in the growing stage. So whatever you have, you think that it may not be enough, but actually it is good enough for you to proceed with. You can just start putting things in, and then you'll realize that there is actually too much of information that you have and too much that you accomplished, that you can actually channelize your LinkedIn in a very good profile. Okay, so jumping back in, let's look at the other parts of the background section. So background section initially has the academic experience and the job experience. One other important aspect of background is about licenses and certificates. Now, licenses and certifications are an important part in your career history. These actually sort of validate a number of key skills that you may have. So some of the licenses that you may gain, say, if you're working with animals in your biology lab, and if in case you have a license from a particular licensing authority, then you can input that here, and that will be your validation for the key skill that you know how to handle animal work. If you have certification for key opportunities or key features in your skills, then you can put certifications here. The section on the left is fairly simple. You just need to put the name of the certification or the license. You need to input which is the issuing organization, the validity period, because some licenses are validated only for a certain period of time and they expire after that particular period. So do remember that after you input your license. Any credential ID, any credential URL, because some of the certificates or licenses are also available online for other people to see. So if you want to input that. An example has been given in terms of license and certification for this particular individual who has gained certifications from a MOOC platform. Now, a number of people might already know this thanks to the COVID pandemic, because a number of people are now sitting at home and actively learning new things online. So MOOC is basically, it stands for massive open online courses. There are a number of organizations that are actually promoting active learning. So a number of organizations actually promoting free learning. A number of them are paid, but yeah, I have given you links of some of them like LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Coursera, edX, but there are many, many, many more. So just feel free, explore them, think of the skills that you want to improve, and then just get the certificates and you can input it. Yeah,
Just
so let's
to add
go
up
to the
one
next.
point, like
Sure,
with the
sure.
pandemic also, there are people are doing, some people I know, they actually every second they update a certificate.
Yeah,
Okay. So I wanted to say, you, it's not doing that much, like how much you do. It's about, I think, to leverage the certification with the skills you acquired, with the posting you do on your LinkedIn. So suppose I learned how to do good writing, right? And then I summarize what I learned about that course, and I also write some small article that, okay, with this learning, I have written this something out of it. So then some people say maybe these online certifications are not a right credential, that nobody believes it. But if you support with these skill set which you acquired by writing posts, by creating, if you learn digital marketing, how does it help? So you saw that, okay, with this now I'm writing this kind of post. I learned image editing, so then I'm creating this new image, learning from this course. So I think these things will support a lot,
yeah.
rather than just putting things there on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because your point is very true, and in fact, I think I missed it. Because a good number of people do say this, that certifications that we obtain from these platforms are not really valid certifications, and they won't land you a job. Of course, they will not land you a job. Definitely, they'll not land you a job. I mean, for example, if I have a PhD in data analytics and you got a data analytics certificate from Udemy, I will be preferred, like any day above you. But the value is, how do you use that skill set that you derived from it? So as Pawan rightly pointed out, if you can show that you derived something from it, and if you can prove it out, I think that will catch the attention of the recruiters and the hiring platforms.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think, thank you for that input. So we'll go to the next one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So volunteer experience is the last part of the background section. Now, when you think of a LinkedIn profile, you probably envision a listing of places a person has worked with for a paycheck. But what about unpaid volunteer work? Does it count? Should it be listed? Absolutely. Now, I recently read a report and a study that was done by LinkedIn that said 41% of hiring managers think volunteer experience is as important as paid work. And people are naturally inclined to like and do business with others who believe the same things they do. And your volunteer experience actually reflects your values. So, definitely, if you have any volunteer experience, do include it. The input section is pretty much same as the previous sections. You have to list the organization. Now here the organization default, it is given as an example of Red Cross, because Red Cross is, as per LinkedIn's latest data, Red Cross is the biggest organization for being a volunteer with. What was your role in the organization? What is the cause that you volunteered for? There are already preset causes here that you can choose, but if you have any custom, you can input those custom causes. If you are actively volunteering, you can mention that, or if you volunteered for a period, you can mention that. Do include a description. It won't make sense if you just say that, okay, I was a volunteer for so and so organization, and don't mention anything about it. Do include a description, because then it would make a lot of sense. Now comes the most important
Sorry.
part. So yeah, just go to skills. Yeah. So the most important part of LinkedIn, skills. Now, LinkedIn skills are a list of your abilities that another LinkedIn member has clicked on to endorse you. And these are very, 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 very important recruiter search terms. Now, even though you can add nearly any skill that comes to mind, the limitation is up to 50 skills. But think of these skills as suggestions for the most important keywords that are used in your field. Skills and endorsements have become critically important because of their use as a main search category in LinkedIn Recruiter. Now, there are certain best practices that you need to follow in terms of choosing the right skill. Some of the criteria include that first, you have to do your due diligence. Before you start thinking that, okay, I have done so and so course and I have so and so experience, so I think these are the best skills. Don't just jump onto that particular conclusion, because whatever your career is, maybe those skills could be something different to what you're thinking of. So input, just do a quick search of what your LinkedIn competitors are doing. These competitors include your friends, your coworkers, even your existing bosses, your professors, your PIs. Just see what are their key skills. And once you gain those key skills, uh, you then input your key skills and endorsements. So there is a section that is highlighted on the upper left corner, wherein you can search for those skills and you can input them. And then after you input them, you can give and receive endorsements. So at the bottom, you can see that for a given individual, they have received certain endorsements, and then you can also give endorsements to other people. Now, finally, the important thing is you can also gain skills from a new feature of LinkedIn called as assessments. Now, this feature has rolled out quite recently, wherein what you can do is that you can select any specific skill that you're interested in, and LinkedIn has got some quizzes. Now, once you attempt those quizzes, they are actual questions wherein you'll be tested for those particular skills. If in case you pass that quiz, you'll be getting a badge for your skill, and then you can show that on your profile that you got credited by LinkedIn for the same, and then you can proudly show it off to your hiring people or even to your coworkers. So skills is very important as a search phenomena for your LinkedIn profile. Next comes the final part of the section called as the accomplishment sections. Now, this particular section is everything that you want to take credit for, or everything that you want to put yourself out on a display for. Now, this could be at multiple sections. Now, I'll go through each of these sections very briefly. Now, there are many categories that have been listed here. The first is publications. Now, publications does not really mean those publications that you have done at your university level. It could be any article. So think about maybe if you wrote a blog article, or maybe just a news article, or something, some critique that you wrote by yourself. And if in case you wrote it and it got published or it got broadcast, then you can put that as an accomplishment here. So even if you have co-written the article, you are a co-author in that particular article, you can still include that in the publication section here. The second is patents. Of course, if you're an inventor, or if you're a co-inventor who has a patent to your name, do definitely put your patents in this particular section. Now, courses, I have already mentioned the importance of certificate courses in the background section, but there are certain courses that don't really deliver a certificate, or they are not really a part of a bigger program. They are like smaller courses. As Pawan was mentioning that, people take these very short courses and they are trying to just update their profile. So smaller courses, which you think are not very, very, very important, maybe included in this section of courses, wherein you just mention them, but don't really put too much of highlight on it. The next section is of project section. Now, this is a critical section because project section can be included as a part of your work experience. It can also be included as a part of your educational experience. But certain projects within those work experience or educational experience that you want to bring into certain limelight, or those projects which have like a higher impact and you want to speak more about it, or you want to show off that particular project, they can be included in this accomplishment section. So just to make your point again and again and again that you are very good at this particular project. Now, honors and awards, if in case you have got any certificates, awards, anything that you want to showcase, please input that in this particular section. Any test scores, say IELTS, any good GPA scores, etc., please do include it here. Of course, you don't, this is not, again, test scores is not really mandatory. It does not mean that, if in case you have received a score that you're not very proud of, it is not mandatory that you need to input that score here. But it is always a good idea to input good scores here to just show off your profile. Languages, this is another very strong area that you can showcase your skills, because outside your own country, people look at proficiency in multiple languages as a very strong selling point. Particularly at higher positions, your ability to learn newer languages and your interest and inclination towards grasping newer languages shows that you are an all-rounder. And it also shows that you are good with your team workers. It also shows that you can be put into newer roles. So please do indicate your language skills here. You may think that certain languages don't really make sense. For example, let's say in India, I know that a good number of people just input the primary language as English. They don't really go beyond English. The only language that they may input is Hindi. They don't go for regional languages. I would say please do that. Please input that. Please input regional languages like Marathi, Hindi, Assamese, Sanskrit, whatever, whatever languages that you know of. Please input that because it shows that you can grasp multiple languages and you are a keen pursuant of those languages. The final thing in the accomplishment section is organizations. Now, if in case you have professional memberships to certain organizations, like for example, if you are in the field of cancer research and if you're accredited to say AACR, American Association of Cancer Research, or IACR, or any other organization that you think is relevant to your career, you can input that here. And this again is a very important section because it shows potential recruiters or potential hiring personals that um, you are affiliated with those organizations that are important to your field. So you are very active in your field. That's about accomplishments. Maybe Pavan,
Yeah.
could you
So
describe about
yeah,
recommendations?
thank you, Deepak. So I think the recommendation part I already touched last time. Here to say, if you see the recommendation is asked and given, so it's always to give more and take less. That says that you are really like a person who wants to give other people. It's not that this person is having 60 received 60 recommendation but given only 13. That means the person don't care about people who care about him or her, right? So so this is most important. And as I last time talked, recommendation are a really very important thing on your LinkedIn profile. You can go here. I'll talk about how you do it. You can just ask for recommendation or recommend someone if they allow you. Also, it's not that if somebody writes recommendation, that's it. You can ask them to edit if you think that it's not a proper draft to go on your LinkedIn profile. So it's not one way like your boss writes for you and you cannot edit it. You can just ask them, hey, it's not good, can we change it to this? So that's the best part of LinkedIn. uh, then recently the LinkedIn started because certain countries areas doesn't have English knowledge. So for them, they have started that you can create your profile. You can add these languages to your profile, and your profile will be displayed to those users in their regional languages. Because in those countries, maybe the person who is hiring doesn't know too much English, but may know other languages well. So that's another new part I wanted to talk about. That it does there. Use it. Don't run away. It does. It works and amplifies your reach out. But for example, in India, in South India, may have person hiring manager may not know English much but know other languages, right? So it's best to do it. And then I think from here I'll take you to the LinkedIn profile of mine. I'm going to use my profile and show you all these sections in briefly that how do you do it, because I know some of you may be already knowing it. It may be boring, but don't leave away. We have a question answer. I'll try to finish as much quickly as possible uh, for the demo part. So let's switch the um, to our demo part. So this is how typically your LinkedIn profile would look like if somebody is looking at it, right? And then I'm going to my LinkedIn profile. So you can go to your LinkedIn profile like this. So you see the first part comes is a cover page, as we have been talking across, right? So here you have, so you see like I have a picture. I don't know it's relevant, but most probably it's not personal. It's more a professional where I work, and and the cover page has many things. So I do many things. I work on genomics, so I have a DNA. I work in the lab in cancer. There is a small cancer cell cartoon. I work in a that I do data analysis with people. I also like social media. I also like advocating science policy, and I'm a avid learner. And I also try start things and make things happen. At the same time, I'm a team worker. So this is giving you a broad overview of what I am. And then this is in sync with my tag headline, right? These things has to be in sync with my headline. So this makes a best, it's a better overview for a person visiting my profile. And then you go to here. So as Rasika was saying, that you can create your cover image. There are a lot of tools. One of them I use Canva, which allow you to have a template, create of your own background image. You can adjust many things like you do in Facebook and other things. So I won't go there much in detail. uh, then comes the headline, this intro part. So in the name, many people write, maybe you can write Dr. Pawan, you can write, don't just write your name. It's always good to write your degree. Even if you have a master, you should say MS or something like that part. And this is a headline. This is limited with the number of characters, so you need to be very, very, very judicious with the number of character you use. That's why they were talking about choosing and looking at other profile and doing it. Then my current positions, I can change it whatever I want based on my LinkedIn section. So currently I'm a postdoc, so that's what I did. Uh, and then comes my region, country, and this is most important part. So if you go to this URL part, so this is my URL, which will take you. I'll talk about how do you do it, but here the most important, how do you connect your other social media platforms to the LinkedIn? So here I have added my Facebook, which is personal. You can say what it is, if it is your blog, company, personal. Then Twitter, then iStemCare Twitter, which I work with, and then my birthday and day. I did not add it because I don't want it to be there. I don't add my phone number because I don't want to be there. That's your choice whether you want. If you are looking for a job, you must add your mobile number and your email ID. So this is the way you add those things. That sends the intro part of it. And then going into about section, as everybody was talking, here again you have a limited characters. You cannot write whole story. So in my case, I have so I have what kind of described what I am. I'm a genomics expert, works in this much years in academia and industry. And then what I did, right? Those 5 questions which we talk about. And then at the end, what I'm looking forward to do it. So right now I'm not looking for a job. So I'm not saying anything here. But if I'm looking for a job, I'll say something in my edit. Currently, I'm trying to transition in this field, right? So this is about your summary. Uh, Coming on to another part, which is featured, we were talking. So you can edit the feature. So I recently wrote, like, there was an interview of mine published in a NGO. So I featured it immediately on my profile, right? I can remove it anytime. I can edit it. So certificates also you can add. You can add many things which we talked about. So it could be n number of things. I wrote some article, it is featured on my profile, right? And people commented, people liked, so I think it's relevant. So you can do that, and you have to use this plus button and then click on, for example, I want to do media upload, right? So I can just go and upload something, or I just want to go post it to LinkedIn. So recently I posted about any post I posted in my LinkedIn, I can just click on that and add as a feature there. Similarly, you can do other parts as well. Um, and then comes your dashboard. This is about talking about this is a LinkedIn thing, you cannot control it. Then activity, which is listed. Uh, and then comes the experiences. I think they have already covered it. So right now where I'm working, I haven't put too many things because I am not kind of, I've just 1 year old, so I don't have too many things to talk about. So maybe by next year, if I have something substantial, I'll update it. Uh, but the most important, which we were talking, there are two things to remember. Don't forget, update my industry and update my headline. So if you click on all of these two, your title will go to your headline. If you say update my industry, and update my headline also will be updated. So I have kept it offline because I have already have in headline, I'm a postdoc at WashU. I don't need to take this section on in my profile at the headline. So, and then I can update a media, a link, anything I want. I publish a paper, a PDF copy, a research paper, a talk, a poster, anything I can update. And the last part, this is secret part. You don't want other people to know, you can just disable it, so that when you update, nobody will come to know, but the recruiters, when they look at your profile, they will come to know. So this is about this part. I don't want to change anything. And then in experience, we were talking about, Anurag was talking uh, about the work you do in experience. Experience always has to be in past. Most time people take job description and put it, but it has to be past. So I'm writing, I was working in a team, I worked on these things, and you see a lot of keyword: IV approval, protocol development, site induction, regulatory compliance, and be quantitative. Don't be subjective. Be qualitative. Be quantitative. 10 members, 2 projects, 12 awards. Like, numbers are important, so that says that you are really thorough person, right? So uh, this is about this part. Then you can add a number of experiences. Another question I think most of the time we struggle with: can you add your PhD experience to your education as well as your experience? You can do it. It's different way written. So in experience, you write about what did you do, but in education, you talk about also other activities. So here I'm writing about most of time, like, okay, I have done in-depth understanding, global overview. I trained many people. So I'll say I trained 2 PhD students, 5 master students. I had attended this much conferences. I have managing been this number of people, right? Numbers are important, and being very crisp and objective is the key. Then same thing, after this is my PhD experience, and then I come back to my PhD education, right? So here you see there are 2 sections, there is a difference. So in education, you have 2 part. One is activities and societies, because that was your extracurricular, and other is what you were doing in your job. So here I don't know whether you can see. Okay. So here in the activities and societies, I am writing best poster award, oral. I was got a grant. I attended conferences. I was a part of a committee. I was not talking about my research work. I was volunteering. I had 17 abstract and publications, and then collaboration with a lot of institutes. So this talks about what I did extra. Then this is my research work. Okay, major finding are these. So having a bullet point is always good. Don't write paragraphs. Giving a glance of bullet points is always helpful, and it does really helps a lot to people. And then I have added a lot of media. So my publications, my news coverage of my publications on different places, on Hindu, Nature India, I have added all these here, so that they know that my research was widely circulated in the media, in the news media and other places, right? And then you can again share or not share with network. uh, Sorry, this is going crazy. um, I think this is bit getting too much, so I'll just go back to my profile. I don't want to waste time on. So then coming back to the last part, which is like license certification, they have already talked, so I'm not going to spend time. You know how to do it. It's very simple. You need to add information. You know what to add there. Same thing is volunteering. So volunteering is, so I'm doing currently many volunteering on different places, so I have listed all of them. A reviewer, if you're a reviewer, you should list out that where you are reviewing, what you're doing. And I'm a freelancer doing for other things. I'll be listing everything here, as they have talked about. I have a list of skills and endorsement. I already reached 50 limit, and there are people who are endorsing me that, okay, I'm good in molecular biology, and my colleague in other company endorsed me, right? The last part is recommendation here, where I received 3 recommendations, or I gave 5. So I was saying you need to give more. Maybe you receive less, doesn't matter. uh, and then comes accomplishment. Deepak widely covered it. I have my all publications here. You can add. So in publication part, if you go here, you can add title, your publication company, and then your URL. And don't forget to add your abstract. Okay, it's must. Don't just add your title of the paper. It's better to add. And if you have co-author on LinkedIn, you should add it, so that they will be recognized. They will know. Recruiter want to know that how you did it there. They can just get back to them. So Then comes about honors awards. I think we have covered sufficiently, so I'm not going to spend time on this part. Uh, and it's very straightforward to do. Just edit, add. I think we should not spend too much time on here. So with this, there is the last part I would want to say: add profile section. So how do you know that your profile is correct, right? The last question is, but LinkedIn do analyze for you and tells you that it's correct. For example, about looking good, Pawan, section is complete. So it does tell you. Then intro, I can say that I'm hiring or looking for a job. That's what I was talking. I can say silently that I'm looking for a job. I don't need to say in my headline. uh, and that similarly you have other things here. You can add profile. So when you first time create profile, these section may not be there. You have to add it, and then it will come on your profile. It will not be coming as a default. So that's what the last point I think I wanted to cover here before we go to question and answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Pawan, and thank you all the panelists for amazingly covering all the topics. And thanks, Pawan, for the specifically going to a LinkedIn section. So we'll go to the question and answer, and we have got some redundant questions during our session. So first, I'll go to Anurag, and where there is a question. How do I decide which achievement or a qualification is good enough to be shared on the profile? How detailed it should be? And another question which I can combine to ask, like, is it okay to attach my CV to the LinkedIn profile? So, Anurag, can you please quickly
Uh,
give it?
yeah, uh, yeah. Thank you, Rasika, for the question. So the thing is, what is your achievement and what are the things? So when it comes to the achievement, you need to understand, like, if you have won a school level debate competition just in the school level thing, not at the national or international level, then don't try to add those things. If you don't have any big achievement to show, just for the sake of showing, don't show the achievement. That is one thing you need to remember. But anything significant, like you have presented a poster, you won an award, that is an achievement. Even at the college level, it is an achievement. So you need to focus that this has to be there. And uh, or qualification, this is not very clear to me. What is the qualification? Like, if you're asking about the certification, then as mentioned by Deepak and Pawan, in the lockdown, there are many people who have done so many stuff on the online platform. And I know that I was spammed with my network uploading the certificate every other day. Don't do that. As Pawan mentioned, if you have to update any certification, talk about what you learned in it. Because these days certification is not that valuable. These days certificate are not that hard to get. You can get the certificate, but are you really willing to get the information what is there? So this thing you need to understand. And coming to the detail thing, as I told you, when you write about experiences or the achievements, anything which you are writing, make sure how important it is for you to make use this as a selling point. Let's say if I have three achievements, like I was a Erasmus scholar, and I have other scholarships also. So which one I want to highlight first? So maybe I would like to highlight Erasmus,
No,
because in Erasmus it is there that it is understood that I would have traveled to various countries. So because Erasmus gives that flexibility, so I am showing that I am adaptable. You have to use your all the information which you are going to put out as a information where you can use it as a unique selling point, and in a very subtle way, that how it is linked for beneficial for the company. Do you attach your
yeah,
CV? I would never recommend that, because attaching your CV after putting all the information doesn't look good. So in my opinion, I would never do that. Maybe other can also give their point on the attaching the CV.
Okay, so I would ask like Deepak the like continuation question that in case if one does not have a valid certificate or license, how that person should go about it, and do you have anything to get about like attaching the CV to your LinkedIn profile?
So let me first continue with what Anurag was mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe I can jump in to speak about those skills, those soft skills that you have probably picked up without a certificate or without a
Mm-hmm.
license. So attaching a CV is, again, I know that it looks a bit different, but then again there is no concept of whether something is right or wrong. Uh, the manner in which how you are putting up your LinkedIn profile is more important than attaching your CV. Of course, it is not a problem if you attach a CV. It is absolutely not a problem. But just relying on the fact that you have attached your CV and your job is done and not really bothering about your LinkedIn profile, that is the problem. So first, worked on your LinkedIn profile, how you're putting things across in your LinkedIn profile, how are things properly built up. And once your thing is done, if you're also putting an additional CV, that is a second added benefit onto your profile, because a good number of HR recruiters, they, in addition to needing your LinkedIn resume, they also need your actual resume, so they will get it directly without contacting you as a secondary point. So that is what I want to say for Anurag's point. Now, coming to the actual question that was posed to me in terms of skills that you have acquired without a certificate, without a license, without formal education. Now, there are two ways to go about it, as far as I can understand. One is that if in case you have acquired some skill through, say, self-study or by manual exploration or in any other way, uh, if in case you can find any of these courses from, say, MOOC, Massa Online Open Courses, if you can find a relevant course that is available in those platforms, or if you can find any of these part-time courses from any university which can provide you with a certificate and which can validate your degree, please go ahead and do that, because already you have the skill. So it'll be very easy for you to complete those courses and very easy for you to gain the certificate, and then very easy to show that, okay, I have the skill and I have the certificate to prove it. Now, that is the easy route. The difficult route is if in case you have absolutely no way of justifying it through any of these programs, or if these programs are charging you massive amounts of money and you don't want to spend it, then there are still a certain ways by which you can prove. But this is going to be difficult, because you need to consider that you are now in competition with people who have actual certificates and who have actual validations from other people. Having said that, you have to very clearly prove how you have the skill, A, and B, how can you demonstrate the skill. So I'll give you an example. Say you have picked up a skill of, say, web designing. Now, web designing, there are a number of online guidelines which are available by which you can learn web designing. You don't really need to attend any course, but you can just follow these guidelines online and you can do web designing by yourself. Now, this is a skill that you want to showcase on your LinkedIn profile. But if you showcase web designing as your skill on your LinkedIn profile without any certificates, you can't really stand out with actual web designers who are good and who have got certifications to prove that. So one way of going about it is maybe help somebody design a website, or design your own website and showcase that onto your profile, saying that I have got this particular skill that is self-learned, self-taught, and I have designed this website for this particular person, or I have designed my own website, and then this is me proving it that I have the skill. Of course, it is going to be very difficult, but this is one way of how you can stand apart in the competition. You have to also research very well uh, who are the key members in that particular group. Like, say, in case of web designing, what are the key elements that you need to look out for? And if you can showcase those key elements very strongly, that will make your point worthwhile.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deepak. I think this is very important that don't just tell, but show what you have. That is very important on LinkedIn. I have a quick continuation question to Pawan that one attendee has asked that the person is bioinformatician and he asked that can I relate my work and correlate with the bioinformatics what experience he has, and he has asked that can I add my GitHub codings to the LinkedIn, can I link GitHub to the project section? So Pawan, do you have anything specific on it?
Yeah, so my 2 point I'd say suggestion is, so any skill as they've been talking, like it's computational, fine. So bioinformatics, as you, the person is rightly saying GitHub. So if you have something on GitHub, you must link with your profile, because that says that, okay, these number of software you have developed or you've edited and you updated, so they're on GitHub. So you should do it. How do you relate it with your implementation work? There are a couple of ways. Like one way, as you said, GitHub is itself people are using, so people will be downloading it. You know how many people downloaded. You can just say that, okay, this number of people have downloaded my software already. And then if you have users feedback, if you know somebody downloaded, you can reach out to them and ask, can you give a feedback on my LinkedIn? Or you just give a feedback. You can post on your LinkedIn that, oh yeah, this, I received this feedback from this person. So you can take a screenshot and put it on your LinkedIn featured section, right? So these are the some of the way you can certainly kind of make sure that your work is getting recognized and you can quantify its impact on this in the community.
Okay. So thank you so much, Pawan. I think we can go to the last question, which will be a quick question for all the panelists. That the question is who is eligible to give recommendation and whom we can ask recommendation. Maybe Deepak or Anurag can go first if they have anything specific, and then Pawan can jump in.
Okay, so I will go first.
Yeah,
So
sure. Go.
when it comes to asking for recommendation, ask to a person who knows you well, who with whom you have worked somewhere or being a colleague. Don't ask a random person. You have connected to some new HR people, okay, fine, but don't directly go and ask for a recommendation. First look inside your own network with whom you have a personal relationship, in a sense, like let's say I'm working with I have worked with Pawan in ActRec, and now I'm working with him in this iStemCare. So maybe tomorrow I can ask a recommendation from Pawan. So because we know each other, so the word will be a personalized recommendation. Whenever it comes to the recommendation, go for something personalized. And if you go for a very like big CEO or someone, they may write a recommendation, but it will be more generalized. So try to be more personalized, which can enhance your quality and which can certify that, okay, what are the skills mentioned, you have those skills. So this is what my personal opinion is. Deepak.
Okay. So I think you have rightly put the point across that you need to like know that person first. And what I believe is a very simple thing to do is your own colleague, whether in the office space or whether in the academic space. Like if you're students, then your student buddies, or if you're working in an office environment, then your close colleagues. They are actually the first point that you can approach for recommendations. So very simple conversation could be that, hey, I can recommend you on LinkedIn for certain skills. Can you do that for me? That is the easiest way of getting a recommendation. You don't need to like aim for the highest branch, but aim for a branch at your level first. Once you cover that, then you can go for the higher branches. So once you have a couple of recommendations from the people who work just next to you or people who study with you, that will be a very strong validation of you, because then it will be shown on your LinkedIn profile that this particular person is getting recommended by so and so colleague, and they both have worked together for such a long period of time. So it is a
Yeah.
very strong validation for your skills. And once you have gained those recommendations, then you can maybe approach people in your network and approach other people whom you have contacted and they don't know you as strongly as the first-hand colleagues. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
Pawan,
Yeah.
if you want to say
Pawan, do you
something.
want to have something?
I think I would agree. I think you guys already covered, so I won't make other people go more. But I would say like we try to cover. Maybe I'll go and just summarize the whole thing, and because we already
Sure.
exceeded a lot of time, already 15-minute extra of our commitment. So we try to present you the best knowledge which we knew, and kind of give you kind of summary of the whole thing. Here is what we are going to offer to you. So some people had questions in on the registration form that whether we'll review their profile if they update it. Yes. So if you update your profile, we will be happy to review. You can send an email on our Slack, on our Gmail ID or Slack channel if you're part of it. Just put your LinkedIn link, and we'll give you feedback in your chat box. You can connect to all of us out on LinkedIn. It's better to be, then you can chat to us directly, say your profile, we can see it easily. We'll give you feedback. We'll send you a feedback form for this webinar. We'll love to hear from you that whether it helped you, you got enough insights, because that will go as a part of our Facebook page or LinkedIn page, review comments there. So thank you so much for being on this Sunday, and thank you to all the panelists, I would say, for taking our time on Sundays, working late night at their place. And thanking all the participants, because of you, your enthusiasm, we are here to discuss all this. So stay tuned for the feedback form, and update your profile, LinkedIn profile, send it to us. We'll give you feedback how to, whether it's how you could, what more you can do, how can you update it, whether it looks good, so that you have confidence in your personal branding per se using LinkedIn. So I think we should end here for today. Uh, Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night or good day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye
thank
bye.
you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.